Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Refreshers Week. I hope you've been having a great time so far. This session really is about the union advice and support services and offerings to students throughout your time at RGU. And what we're doing today is to simply try to find out how the union can help you while you're studying at RGU, and sort of the number of different student groups, departments, and support services that work hand in hand in partnership and in cross collaboration to provide advice and support to the students, to RGU students, to yourself. Um, on this session with me, I've got a couple of people, and I will give you all, although our names are on the screen at the moment, but I'll give you just an opportunity to go around and introduce yourself. So if we'll start with um, Sam. So just tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, what you're studying, what your role within the union is, and what you do in the union.
Hi everyone, my name is Samuel Dibi. Most people just call me Sam. I am currently studying mechanical engineering. I am in my final year and working towards graduation. I am currently the Vice President of Education, and my job is to help students collect feedback and help students regarding everything with academic efficiency and education, more or less.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Sam. And then we'll move on to Greg.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Greg. I'm the Vice President for Welfare. I've been in the role for a week, and my role is to kind of ensure the welfare of students through looking after mental health, physical, financial, things of that nature, and I work very closely with Sam and Emmanuel.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And Jordan?
Hey everyone, welcome to Refreshers 2021. Hope everyone's enjoying the events and sessions that are going on this week. I'm Jordan. I work for RG Union and I'm the Advice and Administration Coordinator. So I deal a lot with students, especially if they have any academic or non-academic issues that are affecting them. So a lot of my time is dedicated to assisting students who are going through academic processes like a misconduct procedure or an appeals procedure. But you can come and speak to me about anything and I'll try to assist you as best I can, whether that's academic or non-academic related.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Jordan. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Sam. And so rude of me not to introduce myself earlier, but my name is Emmanuel Akirili, and I'm the Student Union President for Education and Welfare. What that means is I am responsible for ensuring, working with Greg and Sam in their roles as Vice Presidents, to ensure that your student experience at RGU and the student learning experience is the best that it can be, and is at utmost best, and represent the voice of students when it comes to issues around education, academics, or welfare push campaigns, work in partnership and collaboration with the university, all with the hope of having the best interest of students at heart. This session, like we did mention, is to cover sort of, advice and support. And as we did mention, there are a couple of groups, networks, different student activities, or also support service offerings within the union and across the university as a whole that provide that service to you as students at RGU during your time here. I'll talk a little bit about some of them, and guys, please chip in wherever you feel I may have missed something out. But in terms of some of our student groups and our student networks, I will start with the first two student welfare groups that we have in the union. And these groups are the peer support group and the Nightline group. What they do really is to look out for the best interest of students and work towards the welfare, well-being, and mental health support of students at RGU. They support in terms of driving campaigns, in terms of offering support services and mental health services, such as speaking to students, hearing from students, and working in close collaboration and partnership with the counseling and inclusion team within the student life department of the university. Currently, these two student groups are looking for volunteers and are open for volunteers to join them. If you're passionate about mental health, if you're passionate about offering support to others, offering well-being support and well-being ideas and initiatives to students, please feel free to get in touch. You can find out more information about peer support on the Students' Union's website, which is www.rguunion.co.uk. Also, you can also find more information about them across different social media platforms, which is Facebook, Instagram, where you can find them at either peer support or also Nightline, RGU Nightline, and you can find out more information about these two groups and get involved with all the different activities and support services that they are offering to students. Apart from student groups, however, we do have a couple of other student activities, some which we call the student networks. What networks are a group of students passionate about a common goal and a common purpose who come together, form a group or form what we call a network essentially, and then put their ideas and efforts together to drive the goal of that particular network. We've got a couple of them in the union. The most recent one that was created is the Black Liberation Network. And what this network is there for is to support the interests of students from Black and Asian minority background, ethnic background really, and then drive the goal of ensuring that racism is completely not acceptable or accepted within our RG community, and ensure that all forms of racism are kicked out and kicked against strongly. You can find out more information about the activities of the Black Liberation Network on their Facebook or Instagram page at RGUBLN or a Black Liberation Network RGU, and also you can find out much more accurate information on how to join this activity or get involved with the activities on the RGU Union website as well. We've also got Women STEM Network, which is a network which is passionate about women in STEM subjects. So, that's subjects such as mathematics, engineering, and the likes. And what this network really is supported by one of our student school officers in the School of Engineering, Martina Bali, who ensures and leads a group of students to ensure that women are continuously encouraged, in STEM subjects and enabled while in those subject areas. We've also got the LGBTQ plus network, and as well as an incoming Women in Business network. All these networks and more support or offer advice and support services, in their own ways to students, to their members as well. So if you're passionate about any of all of this, different sorts of student activities that has been mentioned, please, by all means, check on the union's website or social media platforms to get involved with all of the different activities. Alongside all these student groups and networks, we also have a group of what we call key student leaders who are they fill into some of the student union's roles. For example, we've got the equality champions, who represent the interest of a number of students that identify within a protected characteristic. For example, we've got an equality champion for race, we've got an equality champion for gender, for sexual orientation, for trans students, for mature students, for postgraduate students, for online distance learners, and all the different protected characteristics within RGU. I'm definitely sure there would be an area of the equality champions that you can identify with, or protected characteristic that you probably identify with. So please get in touch on the Student Union's website, and you find out more about the activities of the equality champions and how to get involved with them. They also are available to offer advice and support in terms of any issues that fall within their area of expertise. So it could be mental health, because we've got a mental health champion. It could be sexual orientation. It could be women. It could be race. All these key student leaders have the capacity to offer advice and provide support as well in areas where they may not be able to offer advice. In other way, we also have the student representative structure that comprises of the student school officers as well as the student reps. We've got over 400 course reps at RGU who form essential key leads in each course or cohort, and as well as what we call the student school officers, who are sort of termed as lead or super reps, who represent each individual school within the university. So it could be the School of Creative and Cultural Business, Aberdeen Business School, the Law School, Pharmacy and Life Sciences, Health Sciences, Nursing and Midwifery, Engineering, Computing, or Grades, or whichever of all the schools available at RGU. They've got at least one or two student school officer representing each individual school, and as well as supporting the reps within that school. This rep structure of school officers and reps, and as well as the vice president for education and myself, from the rep structure, and we are all available to provide advice and support, gather feedback in anything related to academic and education matters. So you might be looking for advice in terms of the no disadvantage policy at RGU, or the 20-day feedback policy at RGU, or any academic related advice or support. These individuals, these key lead reps, or in the persons of school officers and reps, are definitely available to provide that advice and support. I'm aware that I've been going on and saying a lot about student activities, student networks, student groups. I will shut up for a minute and allow Jordan, please, I'll invite Jordan to please speak a little bit more. We do have, we'll have the advice and support office within the Students' Union. And, if you could, please throw more light on what services this advice and support department of RGU Union offers to students, and how it can be of support or help to students at all. Why should students engage with the advice and support department at RGU Union?
Thanks, Emmanuel. I guess the key point about having the RGU Union advice and support service is that we are not a university service. We are independent from the university, which is a very big positive for students, because sometimes they might have found themselves going through a difficult university process, or possibly they don't want to speak to someone at the university for reasons of confidentiality or personal reasons. So they would want someone to speak to that's more independent and not an employee of the university. So RGU Union is a separate entity. We are our own charity. We're our own organization. Yes, we work extremely closely with the university on matters of welfare and representation, but we are independent. So it is a useful service for students who do require an independent advice channel for them to kind of understand what the best avenues are for them. Now, the service itself, we offer free, confidential, non-judgmental advice and support on any matter. Now, the service is not an expert in all matters, but we're more of a general advice service. So we can advise on most things. Of course, we won't give you very specific legal advice. If it's required, we'll push you in the direction of the correct service that can advise you, but we will support you in whatever service you need to go to. We're also a very good service at highlighting the appropriate services at the university, because the university has so many different avenues for you to go down, for you to address your issues, and it can be quite challenging for students to understand what is the most appropriate service for them to use. So if you are concerned or you don't know where to go, come and speak to me, come and speak to the union, and we'll point you in the right direction. Like I said before, we offer advice on non-academic and academic issues. I would say academic issues are probably the most common, because that's where you want that independent advice. Maybe you're going through an appeals process and you're unsure about where to get the appeal form, or how to fill the form in, or what the timelines are. you might want to come speak with me or someone at the union to kind of understand the process that you need to go through. We can also assist with misconduct hearings. So, if you've been asked to attend a meeting because there's been an allegation of plagiarism or a non-academic matter, we can support you in those meetings and ensure that you have a supporter in the meeting, so you're not alone and you don't have to feel so nervous going through those processes. Like I said, it's not all academic, it's also non-academic. So we also do welfare advice. If you're struggling or if you're feeling isolated and you just need someone to speak to, you're more than welcome to contact the union's advice and support service, and we'll be there for you and we'll be able to chat. We also have advice on the RG Union website. We've got a lot of web pages dedicated to assisting students. A lot of academic advice is up there, and recently there's a lot of accommodation advice. There's also an ongoing campaign which is called the Live Right campaign. This was established about 3 years ago, I believe. Currently we're feeding into that campaign again with our President of Communication and Democracy, trying to make sure that students who are renting from the PBSAs, which are the purpose-built student accommodation providers such as Unite or U Students, trying to make sure that those students renting from those providers know their rights and what they can do in the current situation. Because as we all know, the pandemic is wreaking havoc on students and how they're living and what can they do in halls. So it's very important for students to be aware of what they can and cannot do. So there's a brand new frequently asked question page on the Live Right section of the website. Please go and check it out. If you have any questions, you can email Ross, who is our President of Communication and Democracy. You can also email myself with any questions. And also Greg, who's with us today, is very interested in making sure these welfare issues are kind of taken care of. So you're more than welcome. I'm going to say it anyway. He's more than welcome to receive any emails, even though he hasn't said that he is at the moment. And just away from the union, the university also has so many advice and support services that you should be in contact with when you have the need for them. I'm going to run over a few of the notable ones here. So online, they have a service called SilverCloud. Not many students know this, but it's a free self-help resource that helps you to build resilience and enhance mental well-being. Yeah, it's a self-directed course and offers a choice of programs on depression, anxiety, stress, and body image. So get involved with SilverCloud. There's links on the RG Union website and the RGU website that are very, very useful. We also have report and support. As we all know, RGU and RG Union has a zero tolerance approach to sexual violence and harassment. So all staff, students and visitors to the RGU campus or on our online social sector, you can report something anonymously or get support from an advisor just by visiting the report and support website. And another online resource it's very important to highlight now is Ask RGU. It's the RGU's own frequently asked questions page. So if you're seeking an academic question very quickly, check the Ask RGU pages, because there'll be so many students asking the same question, and you'll be able to get an immediate answer. And then we have the departments at the university which are also assisting students. Probably the biggest one and the most helpful for new students is Student Helpline. A fantastic service, more like a front of house service, which can direct you straight to the department that would be best suited for you. So Student Helpline is always your #1 service to contact if you don't know where to go. And then behind them, you've also got the Inclusion Centre, the Counselling and Wellbeing Centre, Delta's Study Skills, the Employability and Professional Enrichment Hub. You have Res Life, and you have so many more. But I'll let some of the other guys touch on them if it's relevant to their remits.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Jordan. Just to say to everyone watching, while we're going through all these departments and social support services offerings at RGU, you might have a question, a feedback, a comment, whichever the case may be. Please let us know just by using the chat function in the chat box. Just send in your comments, send in your questions, send in whatever you want to know or do know that might help other students. Please send them in. You might also have ideas. Please feel free to send them in, and we'll try as much as possible to address them as they come. Just talking about some of the support services you mentioned there, Jordan. If I can ask you a couple of questions before I move on to Greg and Sam. If a student, a new student coming into RGU, wants to find out more about enrollment, wants to find out more about opening a bank account, wants to find out more about just any general knowledge about the city itself, where would be the most recommended what would be the most recommended service to use?
I don't think there's one recommended service. There's a few different areas there that you've touched on, which are kind of dealt with in different departments. I think maybe one that I didn't mention, which is not technically a service, but it is extremely useful for new students. It's Campus Moodle. You're all well aware of what Campus Moodle is. It's your platform to access your timetables and everything, but there is so much resource on there, especially if you're an international student and you go into the international student hub on the pages of the Campus Moodle. You've got resources on how to open a bank account, how to get a GP, how to organize a dentist. That is a very good hub of information and a wealth of resources on there. And then probably the second service, which we'll come on to later, is the three guys here, the Executive Committee of RG Union. They're there to represent students, to help students, and to deal with any issues that students may have that they need to take to the university. And they're also very knowledgeable about Aberdeen because they run freshers, they help with refreshers, they know about all the events, the best places to go. So if you want to know where the best place to do some shots is, ask Emmanuel, because Emmanuel loves doing some shots on a night out.
I do know a few, but I'm definitely sure the other guys as well. They're very much vast in all the other shopping outlets and opportunities available. Just one more question, just a question that was asked before we started this the session is I've gotten an allegation of academic misconduct in specific collusion. Where would I be able to get advice and support? The question is to you, Jordan.
Okay, perfect. Well, generally, when a student receives an email about academic or non-academic misconduct, the key thing always from you guys and from anyone else watching, key thing to remember is it is an allegation. It's not proven, it's not definitive. There is just an issue that the student, the school has become aware of, and they just need to investigate. They need to speak with the student to find out what's what and what's been going on. So at the time of you receiving the letter, it's an allegation. Okay, so the hearing that you'll be invited to is where you get to explain your side of the story, have a look at maybe some of the coursework if it's an academic issue, and you can explain what's happened. Only after that hearing will any decision be made as to whether it is or is not misconduct. With regards to support and advice, like I said, there's a wealth of resources on the RG Union website. If you go to the advice sections, there's a whole page dedicated to misconduct and the procedure and what you can do to prepare for one of those meetings. But you're also encouraged to contact the advice and support department. Get in contact with myself if you're nervous or if you're unsure of what the process is, and I'll be able to chat to you and we can talk about any issues that you have. According to the RGU regulations, at the meetings for misconduct, you're also allowed to be accompanied by up to 2 persons who can support you in the hearing. Now, those people are not there to represent you or speak for you. They're there to support you. So if you're nervous or if you need someone on your side, as it were, they would be there to kind of be with you. I can take that role as a union representative if you would like. Emmanuel has done a few as well to support some students. Other students prefer to take a family member or a friend, but you are entitled to bring up to 2 persons to those meetings as well. But if you're unsure about the misconduct procedure, I would always say get in contact with the advice department, get in contact with me, and I'll talk you through it. And again, the RGU regulations of misconduct procedures will tell you everything you need to know if you want to just read that.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Jordan. A little bit away from just a continuous reminder, because I'll keep reminding everyone watching that we're still hoping to get your comments and your feedback coming. So if you've got any questions or comments at all, please use the chat box across any platform you're watching on, and we will get them and try as much as possible to address them as they come. Away a little bit from the academic and education side of things, and a little bit more on the welfare. My question to you, Greg. When the student is, although Jordan didn't touch about a little bit around when he was speaking about the Leave Right campaign, when the student is needing some information or some advice in terms of accommodation, where can they get advice in terms of accommodation?
Okay. First thing I would definitely say is if you are wanting that sort of personal advice as much as we can, there's Shelter. Shelter offer some really great, really valuable advice. They're a great service. They've been really good throughout this pandemic. I'd also say in the Live Right campaign, we've posted about it on social media, and I'm sure we'll keep doing so. We'll have links at the bottom of those posts where we can refer you to web pages and things. There's also the government's advice just on the website, where it's important to look over the advice. We'll also be able to provide and point you to this. If you do want advice from us, feel free to contact us. Get emails and things. I'm saying this now, I'm totally fine with people contacting me via my email. If I can't give you the advice, I can point you to the places, same as we all can. Because it's important we obviously give specific and exact advice. One thing I do want to say, because it's important, is that a lot of the time the advice is ever changing. It's very malleable. It can be quite hard to keep on top of it. So obviously, Scottish Government guidance advice lines, Shelter, as I say, there'll be a lot of tenants unions in the area who will be providing Know Your Rights sessions. I'd also recommend them. So I'd definitely say, know your rights. On our Live Right campaign, there's links to web pages, there's links on RGU and things like that where you can look, the Scottish Government advice line. Also contact us, because we can help point you to things. If we don't know the answer, we'll point you to where it is. So if you want that sort of personal touch, please feel free to contact. So there's advice kind of everywhere. It's just about finding the right advice, because it is always ever changing and things like that. And we're always doing our best to keep on top of it.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Greg. Before I move on to Sam, and before we move on to even talking about the union's executive, just a little bit more about you, Greg. You did mention that you've come into your role for about a week or so now, and it'd be really interesting to hear sort of what your ideas are, what your plans are as vice president for welfare, at least for semester 2. What are you hoping to achieve?
Okay. First thing, I suppose I'm going to refer to my manifesto a wee bit. What I kind of wanted to campaign on was, first off, accommodation. It's a huge issue right now. A lot of people are facing uncertainty. We've seen action taken all over the country. We've seen just a huge upheaval of events in terms of accommodation, because as students shouldn't be paying money for accommodation they cannot use. And that's kind of the bottom line. The difficulty is obviously trying to translate that into practice and translate that into tangible action and events and support. So I suppose for me, one thing obviously that I wanted to do was back the NUS Scotland calls for a comprehensive support package to compensate students who would be impacted by the government's advice. Now, at the time, this was when lockdown and those measures in online teaching would be January, February. Obviously now things are changing. It's looking to be extended. I believe, I hope I'm right in saying that RGU online learning is extended until March. So obviously it's important to keep, like I say, that's why it's important to keep on top of the guidelines and things like that. At least for my course, it's March. But yeah, I suppose sort of going forward, I really want to make sure that private halls, we focus on them, because a lot of people in private halls are struggling to get out of their lease and tenancy agreements, which obviously check the government guidelines, because if you have a COVID-related reason, give the appropriate notice and things like that. And there is more details on this, and we can provide more details, and please contact me if you do want them. You don't have to stick to that. Obviously following the appropriate rules and measures and things like that. So that's really important, getting the private halls to do the same. RGU's actually done some really good things on it. There's some things on our website about that where we can help students out in terms of getting out their leases, navigating their leases and things like that. And I'd also say going forward, mental health, distance support is really important. One thing I want to emphasize to people is don't wait for this all to blow over, because if we've seen anything, the whole point of this conversation, the whole reason we're having freshers right now is it's still going on. The pandemic's still going on. We've got one of the highest death tolls and things like that. It's a pretty grim situation, which is probably going to be here for a while. So if you're in a dark place, if you're struggling, if you need that mental health support in any way, shape, or can, please do seek it now. It will be virtual. You can contact Ask RGU, book a well-being appointment, and they'll basically phone you up, FaceTime, whatever you want to do. They'll phone you up. They'll say, sort of talk about your feelings. They'll just be there to kind of listen, and then at the end they'll give you advice. And they'll point you to whether you want to do part of the RGU counselling, refer you to a GP, etc. It's a great service, and I really want to make sure that's robust enough for students and sort of raise awareness of that. And on top of other things, we've got to focus on equalities and things like that. So I kind of want to, we've done great progress, as Emmanuel was saying earlier. We're making really good progress, actually, but I want to just sort of draw attention to trans rights. Scotland sometimes has a bit of a problem accepting trans people and their right to exist and to be heard and things like that. So I kind of want to make sure that as a university, we are a safe space for them. We're a safe place. We totally recognise people's rights, and yeah, we're not sort of sweeping them under the carpet, because they absolutely, as a disgrace that some parts of Scotland, trans rights are overlooked. It's an absolute disgrace. So I want to make sure that we're committed to trans rights and things like that.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Greg. If you're listening in, you can see how robust the support services at RGU and RGU Union are, both covering different areas, covering different things. And, the guys who have dedicated their time, dedicated their careers to support students, in all these different areas. And if there's maybe an area, which is also me inviting you again to please use the chat box, or maybe you don't want to put the comments in the chat box, you can also get in touch via email. You could email me personally on presew@rguunion.co.uk, or if you want to maybe report anonymously as well, you could send an anonymous email to hello@rguunion.co.uk. Also, there's a section where you can send a feedback through the RGU Union's website. And whichever way, there's always an opportunity or platform where you can air your voice. And like I said earlier, we'd still really like to hear from you. So as much as possible, you can please use the comment section. Samuel, just coming to you a little bit. We've heard some things about Greg and his aims and objectives for the year as Vice President for welfare. Could you just briefly talk about some of your aims and objectives as we go into semester 2 as Vice President for Education?
Thank you for that, Emmanuel. Okay, so the first thing we want to be working towards is ensuring that the academics are able to continue as normal, ensuring that the 20-day policy is still met, ensuring the students are still in top attendance, and ensuring that the school system is up and running. And next thing that needs to be addressed is the problems that emerge when you're moving on to online situations. Like, we're going to be getting feedback from the SQLs from last year and looking at what the problems students encountered last semester, and seeing how we can make as many facilities available for students going on to the next semester based on the feedback we got from last semester. And we're also so that's mainly what we're going to be doing, and also ensuring that the rep training still continues as normal, and mainly the students are able to continue the sessions as normal, trying to get a normal campaign.
Sorry to call you there. You spoke. I just want you to touch briefly on you, because you did speak about reps. What role? I just want you to speak a little bit about your role in terms of supporting reps, and sort of like the rep structure, the reps, the school officers. What do you do with them?
Right. So in the union we have a hierarchy system. So as students we interact mostly with our staffs and our class reps, and our class reps are here to collect information on the class systems and see how they and get feedback from the students, see what works, see what doesn't, see what we can transfer onto other courses. For example, if something was working in the computing course, that can be transferred into other courses as well, given that it works so well in the computing course. So that's what we're going to be doing as well, and also seeing what doesn't work as well, and seeing what doesn't work. So if something doesn't work for these people, then we can also see if it's working for the others as well. And if it is, then we'll sort that out. If it isn't, then we'll sort that out as well. And also the 20-day feedback policies. I'll talk on the 20-day feedback policies later on, but the class reps then report to their student officers, and the student officers then collect information from several class reps and have like general meetings and things like Your Voice and Chat Comment Change, and they collect the information and then bring it to us, who then look through the information and get back to the school on what needs to be changed and what doesn't need to be changed, and what works and what doesn't work. So that way we're able to ensure that everything is working just fine. Back to the 20-day feedback policy. 20-day feedback policy is a bit tricky now because everything has been moved to online, and it's a different environment for everyone in general. So we're also trying to ensure that that is still a thing, because it's important to get your feedback on what you've done so far. It's because students need that feedback in order to improve their academic experience, yes, and their learning experience. So if they don't get that feedback in time, it can be very difficult to adapt it in time as well. So it's important to get the feedback back, and the reps and student officers are helping to collect that information and ensure that it is still up and running.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Sam. I guess I have just a couple of questions, but before I go into those questions, I'll just touch a bit about the union's executive committee and what the executive committee does. Seeing we spoke about it earlier, the union's executive committee comprises of three student presidents, and myself as president for education and welfare, Ross Leven, who's the president for communication and democracy, as well as Jordan Moore, who is the president for sports and physical activities. All three of us are elected to work full-time on behalf of students to represent the views and the voice of students who work full-time in this capacity. But then we don't just do it alone. We're supported heavily by guys like Greg and Sam, who are vice presidents in their own right. So we've got 3 presidents and 6 vice president roles. So we've got vice president for welfare, who is Greg. We've got vice president for education, Sam, who's here with us. We've also got vice president for society, who's Lemuel Asunkao. We've got vice president for communities, who's Brad Grabsky. We've also got vice president for I'm mixing it up just now, but we've got vice president for international, who is Hilary. And then we've also got, I think that's it. I think I've mentioned the 06. Or is there one more? Am I missing one, Jordan?
Did you say sport?
Aha, yes. Good. Thank you. The CY is good to have help and support everywhere. Even I need advice and support. So we've got Vice President for Sports, and that's Sian Gulen. And we work together as a team of elected officers, although the Vice Presidents work part-time alongside their academic obligations. But we work together as a team to ensure and drive the strategy of the union and try and support students in all the things in every area, every area that encompasses education, welfare, communication, democracy, and even physical activities as well. The idea is to support you in the little way that we can throughout your time at RGU. All of those guys elected in their roles are very well versed and knowledgeable in the activities of the union and would be able to offer advice and support. So in an instance when a student is needing advice on how to get involved in the activities of the union, you've got me here, you've got any member of the union's executive committee to get in touch with, really. And you can find more about us on the RGU Union website. All you have to do is visit www.rgunion.co.uk/ubr/exec. Also, the union's executive, even beyond just supporting students, we do have campaigns that we run, that through those campaigns we also offer advice and provide support for students. One of the campaigns we have running up at the moment is the Leave Right campaign that has been mentioned earlier, where you can get a lot of advice about accommodation offerings, which is your right to know before you make a decision on an accommodation that you want to live in. And you can get advice about that on the union's website. So the Leave Right campaign is up on our website and up on social media at the moment, and you can get support from that or also from the advice and support department in the union about any accommodation related issues. We've also got the Student Voice Forum, which is an active student voice gathering campaign, we've also got the Chat Comment Change campaign. These campaigns provide an opportunity to collect feedback from the student body and work in partnership with staff at the university towards continuously enhancing the student learning experience at RGU, as well as the student experience in general. What that means is if you don't say what issues you're going through, the union cannot be aware. Essentially, the university cannot be aware, and then there wouldn't be room for continuous improvement. There would be limitation to any enhancement activities. Take, for example, if peradventure there's maybe not enough lighting on campus and no one is talking about it, students are not expressing themselves to say, well, there's not enough lighting in some areas. I when I'm going to the library, for example, I trip my foot and fall. And the university is not aware, the union is not aware. We cannot propose an enhancement to the campus offering in that way. So this is just an example, although we're not on campus at the moment, but that same idea or analogy can be applied to virtual situations. For example, this could mean your virtual classrooms. This could mean the form of app, in the form of the RGU app offering to students, and the kind of advice and support that you get on there. What we're saying is, the Chat Comment Change campaign and the Student Voice Forum are opportunities to raise feedback, get advice, get support, and have an understanding of why or the processes within the university, and possibly also an opportunity for you to get involved in the students' unions activities. Well, one question is, how can you're thinking about a campaign as a student, you're thinking about something that would improve the student experience and RGU. How do you get it? How do you bring your idea to life? And of course, the union's executive committee is available to help and support, but then the question is, how can they support you? We're here to support you the whole time. In terms of any campaigns that you might be wanting to run, we're readily available to help and provide advice and support on how to deliver such campaign in a way where to provide maximum reward for you who is thinking about that campaign. So if you're thinking about any campaign at all, please do get in touch. Just as as we're trying to round up now the session, I think if we go by the tabs on the screen, any final words of advice at this moment? Maybe we'll go from Sam, Greg, and then Jordan.
I was muted. Okay, so the piece of advice I would give is it's important to understand no one is an island. It's important to seek guidance when you need it, using the RG Union advice, and also you're asking your lecturers questions at any point. Since they're online now, they're more likely to respond, and you can no longer put your hand up in class and just ask a question. So it's important to reach out to your lecturers and also your classmates as well, and use that as an avenue to make friends as well. So your classmates are going through similar things as you, and it's important to understand that similar level that you guys are on.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Sam. Greg?
I would say if you need support, seek it. Don't wait for it to blow over. I know I was saying this earlier, and I'm kind of echoing Sam's words, but no one's an island. Some people need help. Some people need someone to lean on. Nightline's a great service because they provide what's quite crucial, in my opinion, a listening ear. They're not there to give, say, so much as advice. They're there to listen, to take on board what you're saying. They're a friendly voice to talk to if you're feeling isolated. So I'd say RGU has some really good services, some really, really good services. Most of them, I think, I don't want to be incorrect in saying, I think none of them have a cost implication as well. So these are access services that are available to students, universal services. That's great. And they're there. You just need to look for them. They're there. They're effective. They're great. If you're not wanting to seek help from, say, the health service, if you're not wanting to go medication or something, if you may even want to go those routes, we can point you in that direction. But the university has some really great services, and I'd say use them. Use the NHS if you feeling that way inclined. Use the counselling services here at RGU. We can point you in those directions and support you. So please, if you are going through something, use the services because they're really, really important and they're there.
Fantastic. Thank you, Greg. Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, what Greg said is absolutely spot on there. So many services available to students. Please take the university up on their offers because it's there to support you. Don't wait till the last minute. Just seek it when you need it. One other thing that we didn't really touch on is the kind of isolation and lack of social life that's going on during this pandemic. And I'd like to reiterate that the RG Union has so many societies, sports clubs, student networks, and student groups for you to get involved with, find common ground with other students, which is great for your mental health. So get involved, contact the union on how to join some of these clubs or student groups, and you'll be able to make some friends in the process, not the progress.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Jordan. I don't think anyone could have said it any better than you three, and I'm not sure that if there's any other thing I'll be able to add, that's probably going to be different. But really, it's just echo the same words that you said. Please do, get in touch if you need any help at all, academic or non-academic. You can see from all the services available at RGU that there's a diverse range of services. If you're looking for something that you'd be anonymous, it's available. If you're looking for something where you just need to talk to someone, it's available. If you're also looking for an opportunity where you don't want to talk to anyone, you just want to get the information by yourself, it's also still available. All of the information is available. All of the services are definitely available. And one big truth, to break that big truth to you, is if these services are simply there just because of you. No other reason, just because of you. And so by all means, please use them. Greg, you're very correct. They're all free. These services are free to use, so just please get in touch at every time that you do need to, and please don't wait till it boils over. Just to say a big massive thank you to Greg, to Sam and Jordan for making out the time to attend this session with me. But to be honest, all of my gratitude goes to you, to all of the viewers who are watching, and I hope that you've been able to gain something from this session today or pick something out. This session would be available to be rewatched at different instances on the Student Union's Facebook page. So please, as much as possible, please, if you do need to get more information, you can come back and watch this video, but also you can also get whatever information you're looking for on our website, as well as across our social media pages. Well, we hope that there's loads of activities still coming up today, and as well as the rest of the Refreshers Week, across self-care, timetabling, the inclusive community at LGU, we're talking about accommodation as well. There's also other fun activities like the live music sessions in the evening. Yesterday we had a Nigerian jollof rice making delicacy session. There's also a Netflix party tomorrow evening as well. There's so many opportunities for you to learn and get involved. There's like tips coming from the library services, and all the different other things, as well as how to get involved in physical activities at LGU. So there's loads of interesting activities and sessions coming up. Please make the best of them. Try as much as possible to attend. They'll give you an opportunity to understand the university and how it operates even more. But also, don't forget that we also have the Facebook group for LGU Students 2020-21 on Facebook, where you can meet new people, make new friends, and also join in the conversations happening among students and know what's happening, within the LGU community. But from myself, and I believe from the rest of the panel today, it's a thank you very much for attending this session, and do look after yourselves, look after each other, and stay safe. Bye for now.
Bye.